Welcome back to another episode of Wild California. It's springtime, it's gorgeous weather, my garden is popping, just my favorite time of year around here. I just recently went on a mushroom hunt with the San Diego Mycological Society, and we are getting into the dry season here, so we haven't had any rain for now at least 6 or 8 weeks. The ground is starting to really harden. We found some mushrooms, but it was pretty sparse, but we found something even more exciting, so take a look.
I always tell people is just be respectful of the property, and if there are a whole bunch of mushrooms, we don't need them all. We just need one or two good specimens. Yeah, we try to, I try to leave it a little better than we find it.
It's April and we've had a lot of rain, but the rain has definitely started to taper off and we've had some days above 80. By my accounting, mushroom season in SoCal is wrapping up quickly, but sometimes you can find little microclimates where fungi are thriving longer than in other places. We took this trip out to a private property on Hamul. It's a really cool oak and meadow ecosystem, easily 10 degrees cooler than my neighborhood. There was also a pretty healthy stream running along the edge of the property and lots of wood piles and mulch everywhere. So I was hoping we'd find mushrooms. These folks had a really nice little lot, not just oaks, but tons of spring greens, beautiful flowers, fruit trees, a stand of artichokes taller than I am, but I wasn't really seeing many mushrooms. I once heard a line that stuck with me. The world is so full of stuff that if you want to find one specific thing, it's almost impossible. But if you're looking for anything, your chances of finding it are pretty good. That's the approach I try to bring to my own life, and this day I quickly abandoned my mushroom hunt when I wasn't finding any fungi, and I came upon this huge flock of turkeys. These are fully wild birds, but they spend so much time in close proximity to people that they are extremely tame. It's breeding season for turkeys in SoCal, and they were strutting around, gobbling, and dragging their wing feathers. It was so cool to just walk along with the flock and observe them. Did you know that we have wild turkeys in California? I've been reading about their natural history. Turns out they are not native here in the modern age. These are called Rio Grande turkeys, and they were intentionally introduced to provide hunting and food opportunities for Californians. They first tried planting turkeys in the Golden State in 1877. There were further attempts to plant birds in 1908, 1918, and 1928. Most of all those plantings were made with farm-raised birds that lacked the instincts and knowledge to survive in the wild. They all failed to establish wild populations, getting picked off by predators and disease. In 1959, the California Fish and Game Commission caught 62 wild birds in Texas and planted them in San Diego County. The birds started to establish a foothold here, but most of the local population was wiped out by the Laguna Fire in 1970. From January to March of 1993, Fish and Game tried again. They planted 234 birds near Lake Sutherland and in Pine Hills. But the program was quickly shut down after a lawsuit from the California Native Plant Society, Save Our Forests and Ranch Lands, California State Parks, and some private landowners. In spite of halting outplanting, this time wild populations were able to get firmly established. As of 2004, the Department of Fish and Game, which today is called Department of Fish and Wildlife, estimated there were over 250,000 wild turkeys living in the state of California. I was reading a blog post from an ecologist at San Diego State who objected to the term wild for these birds. His argument is that they are far too smart and very quickly redomesticate themselves, much like we see with these birds here. They start out in the far reaches of the backcountry, but eventually they migrate back to live near people in the city. This particular property is right on a main road, near one of the Hamul country stores, and surrounded by houses. In my own experience, this holds true. I've spent countless days hiking the backcountry, sometimes with the express purpose of finding wild turkeys, and I almost never see any. But if you can drive through Cuyamaca State Park or past El Monte Park on the way to El Cap, you can almost set your clock to seeing them. Far from becoming a wild food source for Californians, they've actually become something of a nuisance. I've seen them walking along the side of the freeway in Sacramento, and I've seen them stopping city traffic in downtown Alameda. I also know up in the Central Valley and the wine regions of Napa and Sonoma, the turkeys cause extensive crop damage and many farmers have had to apply for depredation permits to exterminate them as pests. All that said, I freaking love these birds. I kind of think it's a miracle that these giant balls of tasty protein who don't run or fly well are able to consistently evade hunters, mountain lions, bobcats, coyotes, in some cases bears, and cars. Not to mention the fact that they are stunningly beautiful and super entertaining to watch. As I followed along with this flock, they fairly quickly got accustomed to me. They had started out showing me their tail fans, but after a few minutes they were gobbling and pecking right up to me. I even began to worry if they would try to come bite me. All in all, I think we all had a good experience. I followed them all the way across the property, eventually reaching the stream and the road. The males cross first, kind of jump flying across the creek. You could tell the males by the fact that they have that little long feather off their chest and the big tail feathers. After they had mostly crossed, one of the males came back to watch the women and the children make the crossing. This was a super special experience for me. I'm glad I got this time with them up close and personal. Finally, we all met back at the cars to count up our mushrooms. The haul wasn't huge, but we did manage to find the fungi and start cataloging everything. The purpose of these mycological societies is less about food, but rather serves a citizen scientist role. We upload all of our findings to the iNaturalist database. This is a growing data set for biologists and mycologists to study what is blooming and when and where. If you're interested, I'm going to add a little bonus footage at the end here on how to use iNaturalist to identify mushrooms. How cool was that? Those turkeys were so tame. I could just walk along with them, video them, gobble at them. They really didn't mind me at all. I really enjoyed filming this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I have some more adventures lined up this summer, lots of fishing, bit of foraging, lots of cool stuff to come. So that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll stick around for the next one. So here's some mushrooms growing in my yard. You're gonna fire up the app and you wanna take first a picture of the cap looking down in the environment where it grows. Then you want to take a picture from the side, and you want to take a picture looking into the gills, and then I usually take one in my hand for scale. When you go back, there's a button that says, "What did you see?" and it uses AI to try to match your finding to the database. I believe I have a yellow stainer. So you click the information, and it gives you information on that mushroom. Then you upload your finding. And the cool thing is other users will log in and confirm if they think you're right or give you a corrected identification. Since this one said yellow stainer, I come back and I try to get it to stain yellow to confirm my ID. So I'm just going to end here with this footage of a palomino cup releasing its spores. Kind of cool. Hope you enjoyed turkey time with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.